All right, ladies and gents, give me just a moment to get everything set up, and then we will kick off the live stream. Mic test 1 2 3 3 2 1. How's it sound, Alan? All right, we should be live on Facebook now. Let's do another quick sound check. 1 2 3 3 2 1. How does it sound? Sound check 1 2 3 3 2 1. All right, ladies and gents, what's going on? Welcome to another Crypto Answers live stream. It's been a while since we had done one of these. I apologize, I've been busy. I've been not in the mood to do live streams, but I am tonight, and we are stoked for this live stream, so I hope we get a good reception. Anyways, we're going to talk about ICOs in general tonight. We'll talk about Vertcoin. We'll actually start with Vertcoin, and then we'll finish just with typical news coverage and some market discussion and stuff like that. But like I said, let's kick it off with Vertcoin. Um, so unfortunately, I think in the very last live stream that we did, one of our viewers mentioned Vertcoin. He asked for some predictions and stuff like that, and I forget what I said, but I hadn't done the research, so I wasn't able to provide a solid opinion. So I just kind of moved on. So, anyways, then this happens. So now it has my attention, and unfortunately, I mean this was all caused by hype, pretty much. As you can see here, we've been trading pretty close to the 200-day moving average, that blue line right there. The hype pushed us well above, but then obviously we came crashing right back down to below the moving average, and we've been trading accordingly ever since. Over the last, pretty much today, we've been trading kind of in this Elliott wave right here. We have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think we've embarked on wave number 5 here. It's looking like we're going to move upwards pretty strongly towards at least the $4 level. That's going to be my near-term prediction, $4, and after that, I'm not sure. We might be able to push it a little further, but then having fulfilled this Elliott wave, we'll probably see about a 40% retracement, meaning between 288-ish and maybe 420-ish if it gets that high. whatever the difference is there, what is that, $1.40? So we'll probably see a 40% retracement of that, which is going to be 41.20. What's that, like 50 cents or something? Um, but I think that's where we're going to find the bottom. It'll fall pretty much in line to the moving average here, and then it should be upwards and onwards from there, I do believe. The reason is there's a lot of positive news surrounding Vertcoin as of late. The Ledger wallet was actually made to, they recently adopted Vertcoin, and now it's available along with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, I believe, is available on Ledger, and uh, and I believe Litecoin. There's only 4 or 5, only like the top coins, and Vertcoin is one of them now. It's available on both the Ledger Nano S and Ledger Blue. So that's big news. That is big news. Also, this is very recent news right here. Just 7 hours ago, Vertcoin tweeted that the Vertcoin Electrum Tor wallet is now available. So, I mean, for anyone who doesn't already know exactly what Vertcoin is or doesn't have a general idea, it's um, it's a pretty basic coin. It's made to be like Bitcoin, just in that it's a store of value and it's to be used essentially as a currency to trade value back and forth. But in many ways, it's better. It's much better as far as privacy is concerned because it does use the Tor network. It uses the Onion router and it sort of scrambles up. It combines a whole bunch of transactions, scrambles them up, processes them, and it makes it impossible to track those transactions. So Vertcoin is a privacy coin which puts it in class with Digital Cash, Zcash, Monero, the other privacy coins. What I'm getting at here is the privacy coins are like top tier coins. That's like the biggest subsect of cryptocurrency, in my opinion. I mean, the whole reason why crypto has been adopted so strongly is because people enjoy the privacy. They like the decentralization aspects. They feel safe, or more safe at least, with cryptocurrency than they do with fiat currency being monitored and heavily inflated by the Federal Reserve and all these central banks that just keep pumping out more money. They feel more comfortable and confident in cryptocurrency, and that's why the privacy coins are such big news. Anyways, man, I kind of want to take a pause and talk about Bitcoin. It was 5,800 like right as we started the stream. Now we're about to top 6,000. We'll come back to that here in a minute. I want to finish talking about Bitcoin first, but that is pretty interesting. Another very interesting thing having to do with Bitcoin is the fact that it utilizes the Lightning Network as Litecoin already does, and that makes it compatible with, bam, atomic swaps. And this is not recent news, but this is still uh, valid news. Um, there have, or I forget who it was, someone conducted an atomic swap between the Vertcoin light chain and the Litecoin, I'm sorry, Vertcoin blockchain and the Litecoin blockchain. So for anyone who doesn't know what an atomic swap is, it is a cross-chain swap, which means you are trading one digital currency for another digital currency without anyone facilitating that transaction at all. Um, it, I think it's the hashed time locked contract that actually conducts the transaction. You don't need a centralized figure of any kind. You don't need an exchange. You don't need Coinbase, Bittrex, any of that stuff. I mean, right now, that's how everyone trades between their various currencies, right? If you want Ethereum and you have Bitcoin, you buy some Bitcoin on Coinbase, transfer it to Bittrex, use that money to buy Ethereum. And Bittrex is going to take a cut. You're going to have to pay a minor fee to get it from Coinbase to um, Bittrex, and you're going to have to pay all sorts of other fees just to complete that transaction, right? Whereas with atomic swaps, it's 100% peer-to-peer. There is no middleman at all. There's no exchange involved. This is like Satoshi Nakamoto's vision of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency from its very inception. It's strictly peer-to-peer. So you find someone who has Ethereum, they want Bitcoin, you have Bitcoin, you want Ethereum, you agree on a price, and then you use the hash time locked contract to actually make that transaction securely. This is possible on Vertcoin. It's possible on several of the other altcoins, and it's a big deal. I mean, if you're reading the caption here or the subtitle, atomic swaps will change cryptocurrency forever. That's just the subtitle there, but I think it's true. I think it's actually true. So I want to read you just a couple paragraphs here. It'll kind of break down atomic swaps a little bit better, hopefully help you understand to an extent. Here we go. This technological feature in question is known as an atomic swap. In some circles, it is also known as atomic cross-chain trading. That's what I was talking about earlier. But it means exactly the same thing. The concept of atomic swaps is not all that new, as it was first introduced back in 2013. It has taken some time until cryptocurrency developers found a way to make this concept become a reality, but it appears the Lightning Network will grant us this power. An atomic swap works in the same way users would send funds to one another, but there are some major differences. More specifically, it allows users to cross-trade different cryptocurrencies without relying on centralized parties. If user A has Bitcoin and user B wants Ethereum Classic, for example, they can agree to a fixed trading price and complete the transaction immediately. One might argue that using an atomic swap would require a certain degree of trust, but that is not the case. Every atomic swap uses a hashed time-locked contract, which is a part of the scripting language used for most major cryptocurrencies in existence right now. Both parties submit their individual transaction to the appropriate blockchain. User A sends Bitcoin on the Bitcoin blockchain, and user B sends Ethereum Classic on its chain. The receipt can only claim this transaction by revealing a secret number. So it's completely secure. You're still remaining within the private networks of both cryptocurrencies, and that is absolutely awesome that you can do this on Vertcoin, and that Vertcoin benefits from that privacy factor. So I'm very, very bullish on Vertcoin here in the near future. I mean, look at that overall trend. Here, let me just draw a line to make it crystal freaking clear. Yeah, that's basically what we're looking at there. That's very, very healthy growth. I mean, this wasn't, but that was all hype. I mean, over the last couple of days, you've already heard about Vertcoin. Since October, what is this, 2021? It was all over YouTube, people streaming about it, making videos about it, talking about how awesome Vertcoin is, and they hyped it up, right? And they came crashing down. But the thing is, all these things they've been saying is very valid. It's just once they stopped trying to push people into it so harshly, some of that near-term demand fell off, but the long-term demand is there, and we're seeing it in this upward trend here. So I really like Vertcoin. That's just why I wanted to bring it to everyone's attention in case you missed it. Now let's move on to, let's see, where is it? All right, so this is probably the most interesting headline I found today. It reads, the SEC-compliant ICO platform, Templum, raises $2.7 million in seed round funding. So what this is, Templum, is well, that's exactly what the headline suggests. It is an ICO platform that is completely SEC compliant, meaning I think this will actually open up ICOs to United States citizens, which is huge. As of to date, that hasn't been possible, not legally possible anyways. I'm sure you could use a VPN or go, if you're willing to go to great lengths to get in on these ICOs, I'm sure there's a way to make it happen. I didn't feel like going to that effort and like straight up breaking the law, but I think it's going to be easy and straightforward, and Templum is going to make it happen, and it should be available to United States citizens and everyone else for that matter, but specifically it'll deliver this to the U.S. market. So I'll read you a quote here. This is from Chris Pilata, the Templum founder. It says, ICOs offer innovative organizations an efficient alternative for raising capital. However, ICOs in their current form can be highly risky for issuers and investors. Templum will provide the necessary transparency, accountability, and investor protection to reduce risks and encourage more widespread acceptance of ICOs. And I mean, that's pretty much what we're after, widespread acceptance of ICOs. That'll make it more profitable for everyone involved and hopefully improve the longevity of those projects, because if ICOs are more profitable for these development teams, they are able to fund their projects fully and they should be successful with that in mind. Um, on sort of the other end of that spectrum, I'll bring one project to your attention. That was KexCoin. I've talked about it in live streams here in the past. Um, I thought it was a pretty promising project. However, um, they set a minimum threshold for their fundraising. I think it was 5 million, 5 billion. There's obviously a huge discrepancy there. Five something. Anyways, they did not reach that threshold, and they ended up canceling the whole project. So all the investors that poured money into the project, they lost. No, I'm just kidding. They did not lose it. It's being refunded. And as a matter of fact, so the way the project was funded, investors sent their Bitcoin, and then they were going to basically liquidate the Bitcoin to fund the project. However, since the project has now been canceled, they're refunding the Bitcoin, and in the process, or during that amount of time, Bitcoin went up from like 4 grand to like 6 grand. So the investors still made a very hefty profit because they're receiving their return in Bitcoin. So that's good. I mean, at least they didn't get hosed, but they're still probably disappointed because I thought KexCoin was a pretty interesting project. It was real estate centric. It allowed investors, small time investors with limited capital, to get involved in massive real estate, highly lucrative projects. So I'm a little bit sad to see it fail, but there are other real estate um, cryptocurrencies out there, so you can look into those if you're interested. Anyways, a little bit of sidetrack, back to Templum. I'll read you another quote. Templum has entered the ICO market at the ideal time when compliance and investor protection are top of mind for industry participants. Their solutions provide much needed certainty regarding regulatory obligations, safeguards to protect investors, and a vital secondary marketplace for liquidity. We're excited to partner with Templum to further democratize access to digital assets while bolstering overall market integrity. So that all sounds very positive, and I think it is exceptionally exciting. This is a big deal. They're not going to be Templum will not be the only person in that marketplace. They do have some competition, and that's Overstock. They are also trying to launch their very own regulated ICO platform. It's going to be called tZERO. So they're going to be in competition with each other, but that's fine. Competition is good. It should healthy competition is good because it makes both parties try to fight to deliver the absolute best service to the public, you and I, so that they can earn our business, essentially, right? That's the whole point of capitalism. And it motivates people by making them deliver good service so that they draw usership. Anyways, where was I going with that? I had one more thing to say. Oh, right. So it all sounds very positive. However, I don't know that I like the idea of SEC compliant platforms. I mean, I like the idea of being able to participate in these ICOs. I really do. There's one coming up here pretty soon. We're about to release a video. We have to reshoot part of it just because we want it to be perfect when we bring it to you guys. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to mention the name of the ICO just yet, so I'm not going to. I should have verified that before we started the stream. However, where was I going with that? Nice brain fart. Oh, right. So regulation. I don't know exactly what SEC compliance means or what that's going to bring to ICOs. I'm sure you're going to have to report all of this capital movement directly to the IRS, something to that effect. I mean, the companies that launch their ICOs on this platform, they're going to have to comply with the SEC. As of now, most of these ICOs that are launching, they're not SEC compliant. That's why they're all overseas, as far away from the U.S. as they can get. And I don't know. I'm not sure how they're going to have to change their strategy to comply with the SEC. That is yet to be seen. But this is interesting. We're going to continue to follow this, and I think I'll probably end up writing an article on this, maybe comparing Templum to Overstock's tZERO program, which I haven't looked into as much as I should have. But enough on that. Let's move on. Okay, Bitcoin ABC. I was going to talk about this. I was considering making a video dedicated just to Bitcoin ABC, but initially I thought it was going to be a hard fork. It's not. It's software that will facilitate a hard fork in the future, but it's not a hard fork in and of itself. It will not produce and there's not going to be a Bitcoin ABC currency, um, which is good. We've already forked what Cash, Gold, and now uh, Bitcoin 2x, SegWit 2x hard fork. I think that's enough for 2017. Hopefully we can make it to the new year without any more hard forks because it's getting a little bit ridiculous. But anyways, I think I'm gonna go ahead and move on because Bitcoin ABC was not what I expected, and I just dropped my research. So that's all I have on that. Now let's talk about Ripple. So we are past the Swell Convention. I think that was the 16th through the 18th of October, I believe. That is past, and leading up to it, we saw, where are we? This right here. This is the run-up in price leading to the Swell Convention, and this right here, that massive red candle, um, that was the first day of the Swell Convention. The reason for that is because there was so much anticipation for this convention. People were expecting some crazy announcement like, I don't know, like the entire U.S. government is going to back Ripple now, and we're delivering you this information at this Swell Convention. I mean, I guess there is some. I mean, Ben Bernanke did speak at the convention, pretty big deal. However, there was no like earth-shattering announcement that came from it. They were talking strictly business. They weren't trying to hype it up at all, which is good. I mean, really, who wants to see that? That wouldn't reflect well on this project long term. So it was just a business meeting, as it should have been. But anyways, people are not excited about that at all. So it sold right back off, and we're almost back down to where we started here. Um, I think this is a pretty attractive buying opportunity for Ripple right now, especially for a long-term hold. Near term, I'm not sure. It looks like we are settling down. I mean, look at that price. The volatility of Ripple the last 3 days has been zero. It's just hovering right around 20 cents there. But long term, I am incredibly, incredibly bullish on Ripple still. However, one thing I do need to mention is this, which I just discovered a couple days ago. I don't know why that's grayed out now, but Goldman Sachs is coming out with their own cryptocurrency, and it's going to be called Settle Coin, SETL coin. And it's going to be similar to Ripple in several aspects. But like I said, it's going to be completely led by Goldman Sachs and managed by that bank, which is good and bad. Again, I mean, this means widespread adoption for cryptocurrency, which everyone likes to see, but it also means commingling it with big banks. I mean, essentially, big banks are taking the blockchain technology, which is a beautiful thing, and they're harnessing it for their own purpose, and their own purpose is arguably not necessarily in the best interest of the world. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to come of this. Is there money to be made in Settlecoin? Probably. I'm sure there's going to be some pretty crazy adoption since it is led by the Goldman Sachs figurehead. Um, I definitely want to continue to follow it, and I'm curious when the ICO happens if they're going to use one of either Templum or Overstock's ICO platform. I'm assuming that if someone like Goldman Sachs launches an ICO, it's going to be SEC compliant. I mean, it's got to be. So I'm curious how these two topics will fuse together in the future. Um, and you know what? I haven't done much research on Settlecoin. Just read that one article, but I want to continue to do more research, and I might produce an independent video on that if that topic has enough to offer. If I can find out the timeline when they're going to introduce it, especially if there is any connection between Templum and Settlecoin, that would be pretty interesting. This is another article on Ripple. Why did I pull this up? No, I think I wanted to talk more about this one. So this is some analysis that Profit Confidential did on Ripple. They talked about it here just briefly, and also mentioned how Singapore is becoming a cryptocurrency powerhouse. There's a quote in here somewhere. Here it is. So this is from the head of the Singapore Central Bank. He said, "It is a known fact that cryptocurrencies are quite often abused for illicit financing purposes, and so we do want to have anti-money laundering controls countering the financing of terrorism controls in place." So those requirements apply to activity around cryptocurrency rather than the cryptocurrency itself. So that last part there is in bold, and that's because it is important. Um, what he's saying is they're not going to regulate cryptocurrency. They're going to regulate the way it is used, sort of, mostly by, like he said, launching anti-money laundering controls, not against the currency itself, just against those illicit activities. So they're going to go after the drug lords and the human traffickers and stuff like that. Pretty sure that's what he's saying. So that's interesting. I mean, it sounds like they're going to be hands off. They're going to leave cryptocurrencies alone, and Singapore is going to become a powerhouse because of it. As I mean, they're going to be competing with Japan, though. I've talked about this before, an article on it. You can find that at cryptoanswers.net. But Japan right now is number one. They carry more trading volume than anyone else in the world. As soon as China started banning ICOs and closing down their exchanges, all of that trading volume, which was massive, migrated straight over to Japan, and they ended up licensing their exchanges just in the nick of time, so they were able to harness and acquire all of that trading volume. So that's pretty interesting. But Singapore, I think, is going to be a close number two, right on the heels of Japan. So that is pretty interesting. But Profit Confidential is forecasting $2 price target for Ripple in 2018. Now they're coming at this at a realistic angle. They're not expecting it to shoot straight up to $2. They think it's going to be kind of a slow movement to get there. However, they feel pretty certain they will see $2 in 2018. I'm not sure that we'll see $2. I'm pretty confident we'll see $1, which is a massive jump from where we are now because we're sitting at about 20 cents. The reason for that is actually, let's go back to this other article because I think it mentioned there are now more than 100 banks and various entities that are, okay, here we go. In fact, RippleNet has grown to more than 100 members. Additionally, 89 of those members are banks and 78 have deployed commercially. So there's a lot of interest in Ripple. They really have a good project and a good development team behind it. And although they have some controls in place on their network, on their blockchain, that makes it a little bit sketchy, I think it's still going to pan out and be very, very successful long term. So there is money to be made, whether or not they fully comply with Satoshi Nakamoto's view of how he thought blockchain should be conducted moving forward. All right, enough about Ripple. You know what? Let's go to the comments. Actually, no, hold on. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the price action because we approached 6,000 very, very quickly, and now we just stopped. We paused right at 6,000, just below. So that's interesting. 6,000. We've already exceeded 6,000. We saw almost 6,200. It was like 6,150, 6,160. So I didn't expect 6,000 to really pose that much of a threat. But I guess it is because we failed to exceed it once again. And now we're just chilling there. Let's see what that did to the broader market. Ethereum is up a little bit, still just shy of 300. There's some uncertainty surrounding Ethereum and the Byzantium hard fork that just happened. Kind of similar to Bitcoin Gold. The fork happened, the update happened, but they're still kind of troubleshooting some things. So I guess you can call it FUD. There's still a little bit of uncertainty surrounding Ethereum right now, and I think that is serving to suppress the price quite a bit. We are still in this incredibly bullish ascending triangle formation here. We just bounced off the bottom like a rock. I don't know if you saw that the other day. I was monitoring it live. We hit right about 280 and then shot right up, or I'm sorry, 290, and then we shot right up to about 310, and it happened in just minutes. But we sold right back down almost to where we started, and I think we're going to continue the slow climb upwards. But we'll see a little bit more positive price movement as Byzantium continues to iron itself out. And then there's still part two of that update coming. It's called Constantinople. That's projected for the first quarter of 2018. So we'll just have to see what happens between now and then. I fully expect us to at least reach the top of this ascending triangle here, which is about $400. We bounced off of it twice already, but as soon as we're approaching the tip essentially of this triangle, and at that point we're going to have to, or Ethereum is going to have to decide whether it's going to break up or break down. Because we keep setting new highs, or our lows are ascending essentially. So we saw a low of 130 here, low of 200 there, low of 250 there. The lows keep getting higher, and that is bullish. That is promising for Ethereum. So I wrote an article a couple of days ago. I'll go ahead and pull it up. Talking. This is just hours before the Bitcoin Gold hard fork. I wrote this. The title is Bitcoin Dominance Near 60%, Altcoins to Rebound Vengefully, and Bitcoin Gold's Wake. I'm going to get to the questions here in just a moment. I'm just going to finish this thought here real quick. The number one coin that I was bullish on is Ethereum, right? The safest bet, because Ethereum has more to offer than any other coin, especially any other altcoin. But I would say any other coin, period. I like Ethereum over Bitcoin. That's why I usually try to keep some Ethereum holdings, even when I think the market is going to be retracing. But Ethereum has so much to offer with its decentralized applications and smart contracts. More and more coins, more and more tokens are being built on top of it, and it just creates more and more demand for the gas. So if you haven't read this article, I guess it's fairly irrelevant now because the hard fork already happened, and Bitcoin is starting to shed some of its market dominance. We were almost at 60 before. Now we're sitting at, let me refresh this, 57-ish, 57.6%. So it's interesting. Our overall market cap right now, $173 billion. If you'll remember, Bitcoin, when we set the new all-time high back September 1st, the high at the time was $5,000, and the overall market cap was $178.3 billion, I believe. We still have yet to top that. Even though Bitcoin is 20% higher than it was before, the market overall is lower than it was before, and that's because the altcoins have not recovered fully. It seems that everyone was selling off their altcoins to buy Bitcoin, and that's what moved the price up. However, I fully expected there to be a massive sell-off after the hard fork, and it just didn't happen. There was a small sell-off, and there was a quick uptick in the altcoins, but it only lasted a day, and everything's been tapering back off. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen moving forward. But the bottom line here is, in the past month, or since September 1st, it's been a month and a half, I guess, there hasn't been new capital introduced to the market. That's the point I'm trying to drive home here. It's interesting, and that strikes more uncertainty in my mind than anything else. I'm still trying to figure that out. But okay, I'm being urged to check the chat here. So let me go ahead and check that out. All right, Chris Warden, as always, he's here trying to sell Walton Coin. All right, man, I hope you make some money on that, but I don't know. I'm not going to buy it. Anyways, Jefferson Uzoma says, what app do you use for your live broadcast? So we use a couple different apps, actually. First and foremost, here's OBS, Open Broadcast Software. This is how I use the green screen technology. That's why there's nothing around me. Basically, the way the technology works is everything that's green is invisible. So everything behind me is green. I have a green screen behind me, and I made it invisible. So you can just kind of see through and have maximum exposure to the screen. So that's OBS. I absolutely love it. It's completely free, by the way, so that's awesome. And then we're using Restream to stream this over several different platforms: YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, and then this is a custom RTMP, but that's actually Facebook. So those are the two that we use. And then Crypto Compare is what we use to actually track the live price of Bitcoin. All right, Gabrielle is asking a question. If you get a chance, I'd like to get your take on 10x. All right, man. 10x, I love it. It has been my favorite project, favorite coin for a very long time. I talk about it in almost every stream. And so I actually have spoken to Dr. Why can't I remember his name? Why can I not remember his name? This kills me. This absolutely kills me. 10x CEO, Dr. Julian Haas. Holy freaking cow. All right, so I connected with him on LinkedIn. We've spoken. He directed me to his assistant. We are in the process of setting up an interview. So I'm going to have the entire scoop for you guys on 10x here pretty soon. As soon as we can get that hooked up, taken care of, and edited, we will get that up and shared as quickly as possible. Um, as of now, I mean, he does an excellent job of keeping the community in the loop. He's always, almost daily, he puts out videos, live streams, articles that he himself writes, just updating everyone on 10x. But he is pretty cautious about what he tells us. He tries not to give away all the details. But last I spoke to him, here's what he told me. He said he couldn't tell me the exact amount of cards that 10x has issued, but it is in the mid 6 digits. I'm sorry, 5 digits, meaning tens of thousands, right? So that is promising. He also said by the end of the year, they expect to have 100,000 cards issued, which is incredible. And what did he say? In the next 9 to 10 months, he thinks they'll reach 1 million. Now there is a back order for the 10x cards as of now, and he explains that in one of his recent videos. I think it's on YouTube. I found it on LinkedIn, but he talked about how they're going to be shipping out a ton of cards in the near future because he thinks they are on the brink of solving the scalability issue that 10x is having. That's the only reason why the 10x cards are on back order. Um, is as he described it, if they shipped all the cards right now, all the cards would be used right now because people are freaking stoked. Like they want to get their hands on the 10x card and go out and use it, right? And that's awesome, except they don't have the network in place to handle all those transactions. So they are, what's the word I'm looking for? They're like censoring the network because they don't want it to completely overwhelm the network and crash it because that wouldn't be good for the existing users, right? They want to preserve the security of the existing users and then slowly add more and more people. Bottleneck, that's the word I was looking for earlier. The network is bottlenecked right now, but they're about to blow it wide open and solve some of those scalability issues, and then they'll be able to ship out all of those cars. Also, in the most recent video that I watched, he talked about how 10x has actually been approached by some massive institutions. We're talking big banks, and basically what they're asking for is, hey, we want to use the 10x program and issue 10x cards. We're thinking 10 million over the course of the next year. And Dr. Hosp is like, dude, like we can't handle 100,000. There's no way we can do 10 million. I mean, they can ship the cards, but they can't handle that kind of traffic on the network. So the moral of the story is the demand is there 100%. People are desperate to use 10x. They just have to solve the scalability issue. There are three factors that really are holding back 10x right now. That's scalability. They need their banking license. And what was the third one? Oh, the U.S. regulatory structure. It's absolute bullshit. And they can't get into the U.S. because of it, at least not without an absolute massive headache that they're not willing to take at this point because there's so much bigger and better things they need to be working on. So, like I said, we're going to be interviewing Dr. Hosp in the near future. He sounded very excited to speak with us, so likewise, I'm very excited, and I need to follow up on that and send another email because it's been a day or two and they haven't responded. He actually, never mind, I'm not going to say that. But awesome, excellent question by the way, excellent question. I love 10x. I did have a chart up, but I guess I deleted it. I'm not going to bother pulling it up right now, but it's sitting at about what 180, I think 10x. It's like 30th overall, 32, 180, 179, and I mean it can't go much lower. There's so much support at like the 1 150, 160 range. It can't go much lower. So we're looking at a pretty attractive risk to reward ratio right now for 10x. And if they can solve any of those problems, any of the three issues, scalability, banking license, or introduction to the US, it's going to blow the top right off 10x, and there's going to be so much money to be made. So I'm continuing, like at this price, I'm basically buying a little bit of 10x here and there whenever I have the funds available and just building my position bigger and bigger. Because long term, short term, I don't know, we can continue to sell off down to 150, maybe a little bit lower, but long term, this is one of the best projects out there. Uh, like I said, Dr. Hosp is um, very active in the community, very good at keeping us up to date. They're expanding their team. They just I saw him. He posted on LinkedIn today, I believe it was. They're recruiting a marketing expert. So if anyone in this live stream is a marketing expert, as long as you have 5 years of experience and solid knowledge of blockchain and how the company would function, he's looking for somebody to hire. So maybe you should hit him up on LinkedIn and send him a message because they are hiring for that position. Excellent question, Gabriel. That was a very good question. Well, I'm sorry. I guess I didn't enunciate clearly. Yeah, the technology I was talking about behind OBS is green screen, like the color green, and then Restream is something completely different. That allows us to stream across multiple platforms. So, anyways, I'm not sure. I don't really want to recover everything we already talked about, but what else was I wanting to talk about? I know I was wanting to talk about one of the articles here. So yeah, the Bitcoin Gold hard fork has already taken place. The response was not quite what everyone anticipated, I don't think. Bitcoin continues to climb higher slowly. We're about to break 7,000, or I'm sorry, 6,000, as we just witnessed, but it hasn't happened yet. So as soon as we hit 1 October, that's when the Bitcoin Gold team should have the code that they can release to the world, and then people can start mining it, and that's when we're going to see a crazy reaction in the price of Bitcoin Gold. Right now, it is listed on Crypto Compare, 117.54. So they're almost $4.3 million worth of Bitcoin Gold has changed hands today. It's down almost 5%. I want to say it started at like 140, 150 when it first hit the futures market, and now it's down a little bit. But that could change on November 1st. I don't know. I mean, they've been running behind like this whole time. They still don't have replay protection implemented. If they don't have that in place by November 1st, it could be a complete cluster. So if that happens, though, they can still make it happen in the future. I think the price of Bitcoin will crash if they don't have replay protection in place by November the 1st. If that happens, I think that'll be a buying opportunity. I would like to get my hands on some Bitcoin Gold. What I want to do is mine it. I've been looking into mining Bitcoin Gold. That's how I figured out that the code is not out there yet for it. What I did find, however, is this NiceHash Miner. I don't know if any of you have heard of this or used it before. It is incredibly easy to use. I pretty much clicked a link that downloaded it for me. Then I installed it, and then you have to, what all did I do? You set up your wallet. Basically, you copy paste your code from Coinbase or Bittrex or whatever Bitcoin wallet you want your profits deposited into. Copy paste it, set up your wallet. The worker, I forget what I did there. It was like a one-click thing. You just name your worker essentially, and then you have to what was it called? Like sync your computer, or that's not the word. It's on the tip of my tongue. You have to establish how optimal your GPU can hash their algorithms. In other words, and it's a short process. It takes a few minutes, but after that, that's all it takes, and I'm mining. And now I'm not mining. It's incredibly easy to use. It's literally one click. I only run it when I'm at work or when I'm in bed because it slows down my computer insanely. It really eats up a lot of the processing power, but it's easy to use. And it also introduced me to this over here. Basically, by using the NiceHash miner, um, you're not really mining. You're just lending your CPU or your GPU power, your processing power to people who are mining, essentially. And you're not even cracking the same algorithm as other people buy your GPU power. They basically assign you the algorithm to crack, and then so it changes every time you enter a new contract. The algorithm changes. So like this right here, the Lyra 2, that is Vertcoin. We already talked about that earlier. The Lyra 2 um, algorithm is the consensus algorithm for Vertcoin. So unknowingly, I've been helping someone else mine Vertcoin. Pretty interesting. What else do we have here? Kekak. I forget what that was. It's like Verge or something. I forget. Equihash. So Bitcoin Gold is going to use the Equihash algorithm, but Zcash already uses it. So whenever I'm solving the Equihash algorithm, I'm mining or I'm helping someone mine Zcash. So I mean, it changes from time to time. It's usually Lyra or Equihash, but I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I just wanted to mention it briefly there. It's called NiceHash and very easy to use. The problem with it is it's not very profitable. I ran it for maybe 15 or 16 hours, not a full day, and I made 53 cents as payable in Bitcoin. I made almost 9,000 satoshis there, but it's only 53 cents. So I mean, how much money did I spend in electricity? You know what I mean? Um, and furthermore, am I burning out my computer by doing this? I don't know. I don't think it's very lucrative long term. Now, if you have a powerful computer, you might want to look into it. It might be a little bit more lucrative, but I'm using this on a pretty generic laptop. So for me, it's not making a lot of money. Let's go look at the prices again. Still hovering just below 6,000. We're gonna break through 6,000. No problem. It'll probably happen overnight. We're just gaining some traction here before moving forward. All right, let's look at the questions again. Um, do you day trade? Personally, kind of, sort of. I mean, I buy and sell whenever it makes sense, essentially. If that happens within a day, if I can make enough money in a day to justify selling, um, then I do. Whenever the risk to reward is heavily in my favor, that's when I buy. When I feel like it's out of my favor or I'm just uncertain about the market, I usually just sell, take the risk off the table. Um, it just depends on what happens in the market, depends on what news I read, stuff like that. Boom. So Jefferson Uzoma said, I visited NiceHash but couldn't figure it out. Um, hmm. I mean, for me, it was incredibly easy. Let me see if I can find the website again. So yeah, there it is. I've been here before. All right, so if you want to lend your GPU power to someone and help them mine, and you want to be paid and compensated for that, you want to be a seller, right? You are selling your computing power to someone who is harnessing it to mine Bitcoin, Zcash, Ethereum, Verge, Vertcoin, whole bunch of other coins, right? So you want to be a seller, so you click Learn More. All right. So I'm assuming you don't have an ASIC machine. I don't either. And furthermore, there's no way you have a rig farm, right? You don't have dozens of ASICs, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of machines all hooked up and mining, right? So what you do have, I'm sure, is a CPU or a GPU. So click that. I want to earn with my CPU or GPU. And then, so here's the miner, it tells kind of how it works there, and then you're gonna click on download. I've already done that. So I'm not gonna download it a second time. For me, I'm using Google Chrome. The download pops up right here. Oh, you can't see it because I'm in the way. At the bottom of the screen down here, except in the left-hand corner, a download button pops up and it shows the progress, right? I think it was like 70 megabytes or something. As soon as it was downloaded, I clicked on it. It brought up the screen that prompts me to, verify, yes, I want to allow this program access to my computer. Click the download button. It downloads. It took, I don't know, 5 minutes. And then once it's downloaded, whoops. Once it's downloaded, this pops up. And at that point, that's when you set up your wallet, you set up your worker. You have to give it access to your system so that it can determine how much processing power you have. And then once benchmark, that's the word I was looking for. It has to benchmark your system. And once that's set up, you click start. And that is the entire process. It was that easy for me. It took probably 15 minutes in all to get it set up, and it's pretty simple. So yeah, assuming you want to be a seller, that's how you do it. So now you're asking, can you not use it on a MacBook? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I've never used Mac PCs. I have an iPhone. That's how I'm checking out the questions and everything, but I've never used a Mac PC, so I'm not sure. Good question. Not sure. Let's see. Alexander Paez says, thanks for sharing your knowledge, dude. Hey, I'm gonna give you a thumbs up for that. I really appreciate your thanks. That feels good, man. I'm glad you like it. I hope this is all helpful. That is our goal here at Crypto Answers, is just to educate people and make the community at large more knowledgeable. That helps everybody, and it feels good. Thanks for the shout out there. Jason Williamson says, how much do you make? Like I said earlier, with my computer, I don't make much at all. I made 53 cents. That was mining overnight. I slept for about 8 hours, and then I worked for about 8 hours. So in 16 hours of running this miner, I made 53 cents. And it'll give you your daily estimated earnings. Mine fluctuates between like 50 to 75 cents per day. So if I would have let it run a full day, it probably would have been 70 cents or so. But if you have a more powerful GPU, a better processor, then you'll be able to make more money, obviously. And also, it depends on which algorithm you're cracking. So the Lyra 2, that's the one that corresponds to Vertcoin. If you're helping someone mine Vertcoin, from what I found just by monitoring this for one day, is that's the most lucrative algorithm to solve, the Lyra 2. That's when I was making about 75 cents per day, and everything else was averaging 50 to 60. But here's the thing, you don't get to choose which algorithm your computer is solving. It's just um, you click start, and it brings in orders. So for anyone who's using the site, they clicked buy, and they went through the whole process of setting up their account to where they can buy processing power from other people, buy processing power from you. So whatever coin they're trying to mine, they create an order for it, and then NiceHash, the company, sends that order to you, and now you are solving that algorithm for them. But you don't get to choose. It just depends on what orders you receive. That determines what algorithm you are dealing with, and that determines how much money you're making. So you just got to kind of cross your fingers and hope that you're solving the most lucrative algorithms out there, if that makes sense. Have you heard about Computa? That question was from Jefferson. No, I have not. He says there's a Chrome plugin I heard uses your browser to mine Monero. Have you heard about them? And if so, what's your take? I haven't heard about it, so unfortunately, I'm not able to give you much feedback or much of an opinion on that. I just got into mining. This is my very first mining adventure. I'm gonna look into it more in the future though, because like I said, I want to start mining Bitcoin Gold. That's why I'm so excited about Bitcoin Gold. Just the prospect of being able to mine using my computer. I mean, I have this laptop, if you can see it. It is a piece of crap compared to the one I'm using right now. But depending on how easy that Bitcoin Gold algorithm is to crack, it might be worth it. So I have this laptop, and I have an old desktop that's more powerful than both of these put together. I just can't get it to work. And I'm gonna get with one of my buddies that's a computer genius. Hopefully get that hooked up. And if I could have 3 computers mining Bitcoin Gold, that would be freaking awesome. But we gotta wait till November 1st for Bitcoin Gold development team to release the code to the public, and then we're gonna have to wait for someone to use it, harness it, and actually set up a mining pool, because I'm not smart enough, unfortunately, to get that all set up myself. So I'll be looking for a Bitcoin Gold miner pool, and I'll try to bring that to you guys as soon as possible because, I mean, it's a currency that everyone can mine. I'm hoping it'll be this easy. 15 minutes, you set it up, and at the click of a button, you're mining it. That would be absolutely freaking awesome. And I think Bitcoin Gold would explode in that case because usually the hash power of these various blockchains almost determines the price action that they see. I mean, hash power means adoption. So like Bitcoin, the legacy Bitcoin is the primary Bitcoin because it has the most hash power. That could change as we fully decentralize the mining process with Bitcoin Gold and make it available to everyone. Because as of now, the amount of people mining Bitcoin, legacy Bitcoin, very small minority compared to everyone that uses it. But if everyone can get in on the action and we all start contributing our our computing power, then even though we're using less powerful machines, there's so many more of them that I think we might actually be able to compete with Bitcoin legacy hashing power and kind of even the odds there. There's a lot of talk, a lot of discussion. People believe that Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin Gold. I've heard arguments for all three that potentially somewhere in the far distant future they could actually overtake Bitcoin as like the dominant premier currency. Um, that's why I want to buy at least a small amount of Bitcoin Gold, or at least start mining it. And if that's what I get into, if I can figure out a way to start mining it efficiently, I think I'm just going to hold the currency, just hold on to Bitcoin Gold, cross my fingers, and hope that it really gains the traction that some of the community experts are expecting, and that would be huge. So Jefferson Uzoma says, "What's the website for Bitcoin Gold?" I mean, I don't think there's much information to be found at that website. Let's see here. So Bitcoin Gold official website. So it says at least. Oh, that's right. I heard about this. The Bitcoin Gold website has actually been down. Okay, well, it's up. It was down. Right after the fork, it went down. But I think this is it. BitcoinGold.org. This should be the primary website. So here you go. This is their slogan: "Make Bitcoin decentralized again," and that was the whole purpose of the hard fork, decentralizing the power away from these massive ASIC mining pools and place that power and distribute it among the the entire community. So, anyways, there's not just a whole lot of information to be found here. I mean, here's a pretty awesome comparison between Bitcoin, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Cash, and SegWit2x, which is coming up here in the near future. But as far as finding the code, finding like a Bitcoin Gold mining pool, none of that is available yet. You won't even be able to find that on their website, unfortunately. But yeah, BitcoinGold.org if you want to check that out. All right, looks like that is it for questions currently. Feel free, anyone who is currently in the stream, hit me up with your questions. I will answer them as best I possibly can. For now, let's look at some more price action. So Bitcoin is selling off slowly. We almost topped 6,000 again. It did not happen. We're now down to almost 59.50. Ethereum selling off too. It was at just shy of 300. Now we're at 298 even. Almost even for the day. Litecoin, I'm hoping Litecoin falls a little further. That's still a pretty attractive price, but I'm not willing to buy in as of yet. I think I sold mine right before Bitcoin hit 6,000. Is when I sold everything, all my Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, everything. I think I sold Litecoin for like 62.50. So unfortunately, I didn't sell it at the high, but I still think I played that pretty well. What else are we seeing here in price action? Ripple is just hugging 20 cents pretty closely. IOTA. All right, so IOTA has been one of my favorite altcoins for quite a while. It might be number 2 right after 10x. 10x is hard to beat. IOTA is awesome though because of its Tangle proof system and the fact that it is completely and utterly decentralized with the Tangle proof system. We saw a low of like 35, 37 cents the other day. It shot up to almost 50 cents, I believe. Let me see if I can pull up. Oh wait, I have the chart right here. So here we go. This was immediately following the Bitcoin Gold hard fork. As soon as it happened, as soon as that snapshot was taken and people started selling their Bitcoin to repurchase all of their altcoins that they had sold to buy Bitcoin to take advantage of the run up in the Bitcoin Gold hard fork, IOTA really saw a massive run up. I mean, for 24 hours, it went from 36.5 cents up to basically 50 cents. So that's pretty massive. I wish I would have put my money where my mouth is and bought some freaking IOTA. Unfortunately, I did not, but I wouldn't have sold it anyways. I thought it was going to keep going, but now it's sold off back down to 40, just under 42 cents. Anyways, I say all that to say this is a pretty attractive price for IOTA right now. I think this descending triangle right here is about to bottom out. We're going to continue to garner support there around 30 cents, I believe, and then long term it should be upwards and onwards. The IOTA project is pretty awesome. Oh, you know what? Let me try to find this article. IOTA smartphone. I just read an article today that IOTA is like developing their own smartphone or something to that effect. It's going to be, oh, this is it. The phone is pretty cool. It's going to be like 2-in-1. It's going to be like a cold storage wallet and a smartphone compressed into one, and you basically flip a switch to toggle between the two. Pretty interesting idea. I think it was around 10 minutes where they started talking about it. Hopefully this doesn't mess up the live stream when I play this.
People say, oh, Ethereum, we've seen a transaction. Not kind of, feeless payment network that we're building within our
here in just a few seconds, he's going to start talking about this smartphone, and it sounds awesome. I'm just going to let you guys listen.
So suddenly, instead
if you can't hear it, for whatever reason, let me know.
You have crypto. You hold a lot of value into crypto, and obviously you need to have a good user experience, but not fight and not damage the security of those values. So we have an experience. We have a good experience. We built this phone. It's a very expensive phone, but it's a highly secure phone, considered to be one of the most secure phones in the world. And the approach that we took over here is that we built two zones within the phone. So one is the normal Android phone, just because we got to understand, to build your own operating system means that you're not going to have Instagram, you're not going to have Facebook, you're not going to have Twitter, and it just doesn't cut it. There's no chance that mass market users will use a phone without having a Google Play Store or Apple App Store and stuff. It's just not going to happen. So we took the approach of having your normal phone, but then you have a switch over here, and in the new phone that we're building, the Fini phone, it will be over there. And this approach says that when you go to this zone, then you basically have an entirely kind of a black box experience with completely different sensors, cameras, completely different keyboard. Some of the sensors are detached, so you have a completely cold storage wallet in that zone to store your value. So the three things are feeless payment network, a secure wallet, and a very simple user experience. Okay, so those are the three things.
All right, so I don't know why that video cut out, but it doesn't matter. That was the perfect stopping point anyways. But I thought that sounded pretty awesome, actually. I'm curious to see what comes of it. I read a little bit more into it. There was a discussion about it on Reddit, and they were talking about how they already have a prototype of the phone actually released to the general public, but it is incredibly expensive. It was like $16,000 for their first prototype. And from what I heard, it was pretty much just the same phone as like what I'm holding in my hand right now, with a cold storage wallet added to it. So it wasn't worth $16,000 from what I heard. But they are refining it. They're continuing to make their product bigger and better, and they might be able to deliver a masterpiece moving forward. If they're able to do that, then I think IOTA will certainly benefit from it. But like I said, I love the Tangle network itself. Their algorithm is freaking awesome, and yeah, I love IOTA. Good question. All right, so let's see here. What question am I supposed to be? Brett Campbell. I'm supposed to be answering a question. Someone had a question. Kragger Files, is that you? I while I had the video pulled up, I used that downtime to pull up YouTube on my other computer, and I'm seeing a question from Kragger Files. He says, "What are your thoughts on Civic's partners with Progression to supercharge its identity theft protection services? With recent news of Equifax hack, this should have been huge news, but the markets didn't react." That's a good point. Oh man, okay. So yeah, Civic was one of my top picks for altcoins. I love it. I love the project. Um, but it hasn't seemed like any price action lately, and I don't understand it. I'm with you. It seems like there should be more excitement behind it. Let's see if I can find it. Um, Civic, there you go, 30 cents. I mean, we've seen the low over the past couple of weeks is like 28 cents. The uptick it saw when altcoins were going up and Bitcoin was selling off, it wasn't what I expected either. I don't know. I don't know why Civic is not expecting or not receiving as much attention as it should. I actually hadn't heard of that. That's news to me. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to do some more research. Um, Honestly, if it continues to sell off, good. I think it's a promising project. It's just going to present a more attractive buying opportunity. I do like the Civic project. Identity protection is, I mean, as far as I know, Civic doesn't even have any competition. I'm unaware of any other projects that are centered on that. So that's got to bode well for Civic. Um, and yeah, the Equifax hack, I mean, how many times has that happened now? That's impacted millions of people. If Civic, I haven't done enough research to know where they are in their project. Maybe okay, there's your question. Thanks for copying that here. Um, what was that? Yeah, I'm not sure how close they are to actually fully implementing their project. Maybe they're still early in the development. It's been a while since I looked into it. Until you mentioned it, I forgot that it was an identity protection service essentially. Um, but yeah, I do like Civic, and you know what? I'm gonna do more research on that, and I will be more informed for the next live stream. I might even do a video on that because I do like Civic. What else? What else? Mm-mm-mm. So we already talked about price action, and it's been calming down here recently. What other articles on here? Oh, here's one we haven't talked about. MasterCard blockchain API to debut at Vegas Hackathon this week. That already happened. So I was waiting to read some more headlines on this, and they just haven't happened. So I'm not sure exactly what happened here. But let's see. Let me read you. Hackers from around the world converge on the Venetian Resorts in Vegas, October 22nd through the 25th, to collaborate on challenges to earn their share of a $125,000 cash prize pool. MasterCard will share in the fun by introducing its new API on the spot. Although testing and verification of this feature has already been completed, participants will be provided another opportunity to test and provide feedback before it goes public at the end of the week. So what they're delivering is something called the MasterCard Blockchain API. And here's the thing. It is an API that revolves around blockchain, but it has nothing to do with cryptocurrency. So although this represents more mass adoption for blockchain, it doesn't benefit crypto at all, unfortunately. So Bitcoin, Vercoin, Ethereum, none of these coins are going to benefit from this at all, unfortunately. But it is still relevant. It's still interesting. And I hope I can find some follow-up information on that pretty soon. But it should be live. It should be live now because, like I just read there, they've already worked out the kinks. It's already been tested. It's ready to go live. So That's interesting. It's going to be mostly, let's see, it has developed its own proprietary system called MasterCard Blockchain API designed to facilitate seamless business-to-business transactions. So it's not really designed for small everyday users like you and me. It's designed for big businesses that make tons and tons of transactions every single day. It should reduce the fees that they pay and just make the whole situation more transparent and straightforward for them. But I don't know if they're even going to bring this blockchain API to the masses or if it's just going to remain a business to business venture. I'm not really sure. But it is a pretty interesting development because MasterCard obviously is freaking huge. What else have we not talked about? SegWit 2x. I don't know what to think about SegWit 2x. It seems like the closer we get to it, the less support it has. So, I mean, I've been saying for a while, I think it's going to have a negative impact on the price of Bitcoin. But then again, I thought Bitcoin Gold was going to have, like, I thought it was going to sell off following Bitcoin Gold um, after the snapshot, and it did, but only for a matter of like 12 hours, and then went right back up. So, I don't know. We're just going to have to stay tuned and wait until the experts release their information. Then we'll know more. I'll be able to bring that to you guys, and then you'll know more. Do we have any more questions coming in here? So Brett Campbell says if that news hit a company in the stock market, it would have been 100% plus in a day. Seems like the crypto community could care less about profits and earnings. No, we definitely care. It's just a matter of the right people getting their hands on that information and distributing it. I'm glad you brought that to my attention. I had not heard that. I don't know why it didn't go mainstream, but that's a good point. I don't know. I'm gonna write an article on that because that is interesting, and I'm glad you brought it to my attention. Does Ethereum charge a fee to cryptos for using their platform? So Ethereum charges fees for using its smart contracts. That's what I mean. Ethereum is the platform itself, the technology, and Ether is the gas. Um, gas is, or the Ether is what is used to use its smart contracts, and so the way Ethereum works, there's no max supply. It can grow never endingly. However, gas is consumed through those transactions. So although the fact that we can produce infinite ether seems to be very, very inflationary, it's not really because ether is consumed in the process of using the smart contracts. And basically what we've seen, let's check out the max supply or the current supply of Ethereum. 95 million. It's been going up slowly. I think last I checked it was like 92 or 93 million. Let's see if we have a chart here. We do not have a chart. That's unfortunate. Anyways, so yeah, the circulating supply has been going up slowly, but the demand, I think, has been going up more quickly than the supply has. Now we're not seeing that in the price action as of yet, but if you guys were following the price of Ether live just a couple of nights ago when we hit this right here, so this line I've drawn, this is the trend line, the bottom trend line in this ascending triangle formation, and every time we hit it, we bounce off of it violently. So basically what happens is smart money is holding their funds on the sideline, waiting to get in at the most opportune time. And this trend line is the most opportune time, according to their investment behavior, essentially. So although we're not seeing massive upward pressure in the price of Ethereum, the demand is there. People are paying attention. The capital is there. People are just waiting to buy in. I think they're still waiting to see what's going to happen with Byzantium. It's not fully ironed out yet. There are still some kinks. They're still troubleshooting as we go. It is live. It is live on the Ether network. They tested it on the Ropsten network there for a couple of weeks. They were happy with it. They were satisfied. It went live on the live network, but it's not 100%. I think Let's see here. Vitalik Buterin statement. Byzantium. He released a statement saying basically it wasn't perfected and they were still troubleshooting some stuff. I think that is all right. So 1,200 blocks into Byzantium so far, so good. Difficulty almost fully readjusted. Block times already back below 20s. So here's a whole bunch of questions. All right, I'm surprised I'm not following him yet. Now I'm following, and I'm going to continue to read what he has to say because he's the most notable name in cryptocurrency. He's a freaking genius. But wish I could find that article that I was talking about. Anyway, so yeah, Byzantium brought a whole bunch of new stuff to the users. ZK Snarks, first and foremost, zero knowledge proofs. It makes the basically it turns Ethereum into a privacy coin. So now it's going to be in contention with Zcash, Monero, um, Bitcoin, all these other privacy coins. So I mean, there are already so many uses for Ethereum. It's almost ridiculous. This is just one more use case. Now it's a privacy coin. I love Ethereum. I mean, Vitalik Buterin is behind it. What's not to love? You know what I mean? But a very promising project and good question. All right. So Bitcoin price continuing to taper off there. Ethereum, not so much. IOTA, if it gets below 40 cents, I think it's buy time for IOTA. Ripple, anything much below 20 cents is buy time. Like 18 cents is attractive. 16 cents, that's money right there. That's when I go all in on Ripple, 16 cents. Oh, Stellar. I haven't talked about this at all. I meant to. I didn't bring up any articles, so it's not fresh in my mind. But I remember that Stellar Lumens recently announced a project with IBM, International Business Machines, and this did make national, if not international, headlines. And Stellar ran up from like $1 to like $4 in just a day or two. Let's see if I can find it. Let's look at the 1 month. Oh wow, yeah, let's do 1 month. So yeah, as soon as that news was released, we jumped from. It can't be right. It doesn't make any sense. 1 cent? Oh yeah, I'm retarded. I was thinking dollars. I thought it jumped from $1 to $4. It jumped from 1 cent to almost 4 cents. Actually, almost 4.5 cents. So yeah, absolutely incredible just from one headline. And I know Brett, that's what you were expecting with the Equifax hacking news. Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't make bigger headlines, and I wish it did. But this news did make international headlines, and we saw a 400% run up. So we'll have to continue to follow that project. I'm not sure exactly how IBM and Stellar Lumens are going to be working together, but it certainly is driving a lot of excitement in the market. Um, so after that run up, we did sell off a little bit, it looks like, but we're still holding above 3 cents. And obviously, I mean, all the crypto or all the altcoins sold off right leading up or right after the Bitcoin Gold hard fork. But it looks like it has found support there at about 3 cents. So maybe it'll be upwards and onwards from there. I'm not sure. I'm not going to be buying into Stellar Lumens. I'm going to wait until there's more information released on that IBM partnership. But that is definitely something to follow. What else we have here? What else can we talk about? Purecoin. I used to be big on Purecoin because it was like the very first proof of stake coin. I thought that was kind of interesting. It's been around since 2014, um, but we've seen nothing out of Purecoin lately. It was trading in line with Bitcoin for a while before it sold off from 5,000. Before Bitcoin, pretty much since September 1st, Purecoin has just been worthless. So I think I've abandoned that coin altogether. Civic, I still have high hopes for, and I don't know why we haven't seen more positive price action there. Let's see what do we have for comments. Brett says he owns Stellar. I'm unable to withdraw from my wallet. Would have made 300%. What's going on there? Why can you not withdraw it? You lost your private key or what's going on? That sucks, dude. But yeah, that's props to you if you can get access to it. That's awesome. Pretty juicy profit. I already talked about that a couple times. So for anyone that is here that wasn't here when the stream initially kicked off, we started talking about Vertcoin and everything that it has to offer. This I'll put Vertcoin in my top five altcoins, and this just happened recently. I still think 10x and IOTA have got to be number one and two, but Vertcoin is in there somewhere in the top five. We're seeing a lot of positive price development here. It's just moving upwards along this trend line, and there's a lot of excitement and a lot of good news that's come just in the past month. Let's go to their Twitter feed to read about some of it. So Vertcoin is now available on the Ledger Nano S and the Ledger Blue. Those are cold storage wallets. We actually did a live stream. This was months ago, like 2 months. One of the very first live streams we ever did, actually. That we walked you guys how to set up the Ledger Nano S wallet. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Vertcoin is now available on those wallets, which is huge because those wallets only acknowledge the top few currencies. We're talking, you know what? I'm just gonna Nano S support. All right, so the Ledger Nano S and Ledger Blue natively support ARC, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Dogecoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Stratus, Zcash. And now they haven't even added it. Vertcoin. Yeah, they haven't even added Vertcoin yet, but it is now supported by Ledger. So, like I said, there's only a few coins that it supports. Only the top coins. I mean, bar a few. Dogecoin, I wouldn't say is the top coin, and POSW, I don't even know what that is. But by and large, they don't cater to just everyone. Like the coin has to offer something special for them to offer it with their product. So that is noteworthy. They also got their Vertcoin Electrum Tor wallet up and running. So Vertcoin does operate on a Tor network, which is how it derives its privacy. It filters all of the Vertcoin transactions through an Onion network and then mixes them up, processes them, and then there's no way for anyone to track them. So the transactions are completely anonymous, completely secure, and that's what makes Vertcoin one of the top currencies, at least in my mind. I would almost put it in class with like Dash, Monero, and what am I forgetting? Zcash. There you go. Those are the top privacy coins. Also, so months ago, this happened. The very first atomic swap occurred between Vertcoin and Litecoin, and this is a big deal because if they ever perfect that technology, the atomic swaps, then exchanges are a thing of the past. Exchange fees are a thing of the past. You will not have to go through Coinbase and pay their bullshit 1.5% fee or whatever they charge. It might be more than that. So it enables 100% straight up peer-to-peer transactions. So in other words, if you hold Bitcoin and you want Ethereum, you just need to find someone, and I'm not exactly sure what the process is for finding these people that want to trade your currencies. But as long as you find someone who wants your currency and you want their currency, you let's see here. So you do the swap using what's called a hashed time-locked contract. That's what makes it secure, and essentially it is just a cross-chain trade. And it wasn't possible until the atomic swaps and the Lightning Network came about. It is possible now, but this should revolutionize the cryptocurrencies forever if it goes mainstream. Because I mean, exchanges, Satoshi Nakamoto would probably, if he's still alive today, he hates exchanges. He does not like the idea because it centralizes what is supposed to be a fully decentralized autonomous currency. And so what this enables is for his vision to be fully realized. That's why this is a big deal. Back to price action, nothing. Back to comments. All right, so Brett says, luckily I had half of my Stellar coins on Bittrex and the other half in some lame wallet that needs some type of download for me to withdraw, which my Chromebook can't download. I need a normal PC to get my Stellar out of my wallet. Oh yeah, hell yeah, easy fix, dude. Buy a computer. Use some of your profits, go buy a computer. It'll be worth it. And then you can use that computer to mine Bitcoin Gold and get filthy rich. That's what's up, dude. You're gonna get rich. So Ravi Shavan says, regarding Verge prices. I don't know. I don't know how to help you there. That was a pretty vague question. But if you can expound on that, I would be happy to answer that question. I do like Verge. I do hold Verge. Not much, like 30,000 Verge, I think it is. I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping it gets big eventually. But I think it'll be a while. Ooh, Russ Weinstein says Vert is a beast. He entered at 53 cents. You played that pretty well, my friend. Congratulations. That's like what, a 700% profit? That's pretty good. Pretty good. So Brian, I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name because that's a very tricky last name. He says, can you tell us which coins are Lightning Network compatible? Vertcoin, I know for a fact, is Lightning compatible. Litecoin, I know for a fact, is Lightning compatible. I want to say Ethereum is, but let me Google that just to make sure. Actually, you know what? Ethereum has its own Lightning network. It's not called Lightning, it's something else. What coins are Lightning compatible? I think I've read an article on this before, I just don't remember. Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head. Let's see. There was a. Let's see here. Vertcoin, activated SegWit, Navcoin. So these coins. Oh, that's what it was. Grosso Coin. I know for a fact Grosso Coin is Lightning compatible. There was at least one more that I know of. All these ones they're talking about in this paragraph might be Lightning compatible. I can't tell from the. It says Vicoin announced SegWit activation last week. This is back in May. Vertcoin announced they activated SegWit. Navcoin activated SegWit. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's at least one more that I know of, but no. To answer your question, I do not have an all-inclusive list. Maybe that's another research topic or a good video topic. We'll have to see. So Ahmed Hassan asked the question, which website to buy and sell all coins and currencies in the UK, please? So your best option is probably going to be Bitfinex. I really like Bitfinex, but they just withdrew service to United States residents. So I'm not able to use it. I know they do have quite a few trading pairs, and I think they allow you to import cash, like fiat currency, euros, in other words. So you live in the UK, or you should be able to import pounds as well. I think I saw trading pairs in pounds. Maybe not. Anyways, you should look at Bitfinex. I really like Bitfinex. I just can't use it myself, unfortunately. What else? Bittrex is what I use. I think you can use that as well. I think it's available pretty much globally. It has hundreds of trading pairs available. Here's Monacoin, Qtum, ADDX, Edgeless, Zcash, Ripple, Zencash, which is the Zcash hard fork. I haven't done enough research to know exactly what's going on there, but I know it saw a massive spike the day of the hard fork. I wish I would have known about it in time. Syscoin, Salus, whatever the hell that is, Metal, Omisego, Lumen. I mean, that's just the first page. We got smaller stuff here. Lomocoin, Bitsend, Rise, co-founded. Vcash, Ubiq, which is like an Ethereum copycat, basically. It's trying to do the same stuff Ethereum is doing. Dogecoin, Guppy, Pivx, Spreadcoin, Factom, Nexus, Wings, DAO, Potcoin, Gold. Almost everything you could possibly wish to trade, you can find on Bittrex. So that's why I like Bittrex. The fees are pretty reasonable. I don't even know how they charge a fee. They might charge a spread. I'm not sure. Um, the fees are invisible. However they're implemented, they're invisible, but I know they do have fees because I've read about it. So the three main markets that Bittrex offers is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then Tether. So in order to get started with Bittrex, you have to import Bitcoin or Ethereum from a different exchange or a different wallet. I do not think you can bring in fiat currency directly. So that's one of the only drawbacks that I have for Bittrex. Other than that, I mean, I'm not from the UK, so I'm not overly familiar with UK applicable exchanges, but I would definitely recommend looking into those too. So Russ Weinstein says, Overstock will one day be the largest altcoin exchange. You heard it here first. Okay, yes, I just talked about that earlier on the stream. You bring up a good point. Um, so their new, they have an SEC compliant platform for ICOs. I know that's what you're talking about. Now they have, it's called T0, but now they have competition. It's called Templum. Just found this article today. They did raise over $2.5 million in seed funding, so they're going to develop their own ICO platform. And so this is awesome, Russ. I'm glad you brought that up so I can talk about it again. Overstock and Templum together, they're going to be bringing ICOs to the United States. And that's freaking awesome because I want to participate in these ICOs too. And I know there's a lot of people in the United States with free capital. They're dying to invest it in something. They like the idea of ICOs, but they can't legally do it as of now. And Templum and Overstock is going to enable that. So I'm very excited. Can't wait for this to come to fruition. And all right, it's settled. I'm definitely doing, my next article is going to be on Templum and Overstock and these ICO platforms. All right. So you guys are coming up with great questions tonight, dude. This is awesome. You're making this fun and entertaining, and thank you for the feedback and the interaction. I appreciate it. If anyone else has any other questions, bring it on. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm trying to follow the YouTube chat a little bit, which I haven't done in the past, but since I got my other laptop up and running, let's see what we have over here. Oh, Gabrielle, I don't remember if I already answered your question. You asked how to buy IOTA. The only exchange I'm able to use that I can buy IOTA on is Bittrex. So I would recommend Bittrex if you don't, if you haven't already looked into it. Bittrex seems to be pretty solid. And that's it for questions on YouTube. Oh, Russ says Overstock has been hoarding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I read more and more articles saying that people are just buying a few Bitcoin and then like putting it in cold storage, like just locking it up in a safe, and they're not even going to look at it for years. So that's good. That's very, very good. Because I mean we're looking at the supply of Bitcoin. We're at like 16.65 million Bitcoin in circulation right now. Circulating supply, right? However, how much of that is offline in cold storage wallets, right? How much of that is actually circulating? I think it's far less than that. I'm talking less than 10 million Bitcoin. I would not be surprised because I think a lot of people have it locked up in cold storage. People are hoarding it, like you said. So Overstock, I know, does allow, I think, straight across purchases of products on their website using Bitcoin. Like you can just straight up buy stuff on their website with Bitcoin. And they're one of the very few merchants that allow that, and they're probably the biggest. I mean, Overstock is huge, one of the biggest online websites, and so that makes sense. I mean, maybe they're not selling that Bitcoin at all, and they are straight up hoarding it as it comes. I mean, that good for them because they've been doing it for I think years, and the price of Bitcoin has gone from hundreds to now $6,000. So they made out like a bandit. Let's see here. What else? What else? Bitcoin ABC decided to scratch that. Ripple is looking very, very juicy at 20 cents. So here's an analyst that's projecting $2 for Ripple by the end of 2018. So he's calling basically for a 8 to 900% profit in the price of Ripple in the next year. I myself I'm incredibly bullish on Ripple. I don't know if we'll see $2. I've already said this before in the live stream. I'm just saying this again for newcomers. I think we could see $1 by the end of 2018. I don't know if we could see 2. I mean, here's what we're fighting against. We're fighting against 38.5 billion Ripple circulating supply. I mean, compare that to the 16.5 million Bitcoin in circulating supply. That's a lot. That's a lot of Ripple that's just floating around out there. And in order for us to visit $1, there's got to be. I mean, what would that do to the market cap? So if it went up 10 times, it's a 7.8. It would be a 78. So it would almost be right there with Bitcoin. Now, obviously, Bitcoin would rise along the way as well. Probably by then we'll see $10,000 Bitcoin. Who knows what Ethereum will do? But I mean that'd be crazy, and I don't think that's far fetched. I really don't. There's so much going for Ripple. There's more than 100 banks and entities utilizing its network now, and that continues to grow. I know they just had like a massive convention basically in Singapore. I think they just established a headquarters in Singapore, as a matter of fact, because Singapore is so receptive and inviting to cryptocurrencies. They've already released statements saying they're not going to regulate cryptocurrency. So I think more and more people, more and more ICO projects are going to flock to Singapore to get this stuff underway. And Ripple is getting in. They're establishing a physical presence there so they can take advantage of that explosion. I really have a lot of faith in their development team. The project is very promising. So, I mean, I'm calling $1 Ripple in the next 14, 15 months. I think that could very well happen. What else? What else? What else? Any more questions? Russ Weinstein says Ripple is gross. Never. I understand your sentiment, dude. Trust me. It's not. I don't even know if I really consider it a cryptocurrency. I mean, it goes against a lot of pretty much everything Satoshi Nakamoto really wanted Bitcoin to develop into, and that breaks my heart. But I mean, I'm here to make money. I'm just being real with you, and if I can do that through Ripple, then I'm gonna make some money with Ripple. I mean, call it blood money if you want, but money all the same. I've heard that Ripple can actually freeze funds and not replay them, but like if you make a fraudulent transaction, they can recall those funds, and I think they can like freeze accounts and stuff like that too. I've heard rumors. I don't know that that's been confirmed, but I wouldn't doubt it because I know. I mean, they're all intertwined with the big banks and stuff, so their project is. I mean, if you are a straight up blockchain crypto head, then yeah, you're not going to be a fan of Ripple at all for very valid reasons. So I understand your sentiment. I don't blame you for that, but I still think there's money to be made there. So that's the only reason why I really even mention it. Ooh, Bitcoin. Wait, Bitcoin Gold. Yeah, it's still pretty flat. 118. All right, guys. Well, looks like questions are dying down and viewership is dying down, and it's past my bedtime. It's 9:30 p.m. I got an early day tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for continuing to support the channel and Crypto Answers. We really appreciate it. We continue to see faces in the stream that have been here for months. So that's awesome. Thanks for your loyalty and your support. It's always good to see you guys join us in the streams and everything. Um, if at any time you have questions that I wasn't able to address in the stream or whatever, feel free to hit us up on Twitter. You can search for us on Twitter, Crypto Answers. Hit us up on any of our social media platforms. We'd be happy to help you out because you guys are awesome and you make up the best part of our community. So again, thanks for the support. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off for tonight, but we'll be back soon with at least an article, maybe another live stream or a video. Probably be talking about the Overstock platform and the what was it called? The Templum ICO platforms because that's going to be a big deal. You're right on that. So yeah. Oh wait, we have another question before we go. Any idea when Bitcoin Gold exchange wallets will be open? Currently, they are inactive. Huge arbitrage opportunity right now, but will probably disappear once wallets are active. $5,000 can bring $1,100 ROI. Do this all day, you can make some easy coin. Huh. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about, but I think we can anticipate some Bitcoin Gold wallets coming online on November 1st. I mean, that's when all this was really supposed to go live from the get-go. Really, what we're seeing now, this price of Bitcoin Gold, this is more of like a futures trading. Since the wallets aren't online yet and the mining code has not been released, so nobody can mine it. Really, the snapshot has been taken, but Bitcoin Gold itself has not been released to the masses. So once that does happen, so another thing I failed to mention earlier, Bitcoin Gold has been pre-mined. I don't know if you guys realize that. 100,000 Bitcoin Gold is being pre-mined by the development team, and that has sparked a lot of criticism from the whole community. A lot of people don't like that idea because that's millions of dollars that they're going to get right off the bat, right? I mean, 100,000 Bitcoin Gold at $118 is like $11.8 million, I believe. So, I mean, cha-ching, cash money right off the bat. That's awesome. Now, granted, if they're going to continue to develop Bitcoin Gold, they're going to need some capital to work with. So, with that in mind, I don't blame them. They need some money, and I think their intentions are pure. I think they're doing this for the right reasons, but a lot of people don't like that idea. Anyways, how they get there? Bitcoin Gold. Oh yeah, so November 1st, I think is the date we're looking for. They should at least have the code ready and released, and people can start working on developing wallets at that time. How long it will take, I'm not sure. And maybe they've already released it to like people that have paid for it. You know what I mean? I was listening to somebody talked about they were considering. It may have actually been Dr. Julian Haas, the 10x CEO. No, that's something completely different. Just forget I said that. Anyways, I think it's possible to like pay Bitcoin Gold development team for the privilege of receiving that code early. So if you're willing to pay the right price, you can be the first to have the Bitcoin Gold wallet up and running. Obviously, that would draw in a massive amount of users. Might be worth it. I don't know. Hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, sorry, man. I don't have a better answer than that. But yeah, that's it. I gotta get to bed, guys. I gotta run. I gotta wake up here in just a matter of a few hours. But you guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed yet, especially on YouTube, we are trying to grow our YouTube following more than anything else. Search Crypto Answers on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe there, and we'll continue to pump out the videos and the contents and keep you guys up to date. Thanks for listening. Have a good night. Creighton Piper signing out. Peace.